Good evening, everyone. I am your KevinlyFather, Kevin Williams, and I just wanted to jump in. Liz Cheney is speaking right now. Tomorrow she will likely be voted out of the Republican conference for maintaining that President Trump's big lie is a lie. Liz Cheney, one of the most conservative members of the House GOP caucus, is going to be kicked out of the caucus, not because of something she voted for, but because she holds to the idea that the party really shouldn't lie about things that are painfully obvious. Speaking of painful, she's giving a speech right now on freedom.
Colleague, Mr. Buck, for yielding me time this evening. I know the topic, Mr. Speaker, is cancel culture. I have some thoughts about that, but tonight I rise to discuss freedom.
This is in the middle of a session of Republicans complaining about cancel culture.
And our constitutional duty to protect it.
Duty.
Mr. Speaker, I have been privileged to see firsthand how powerful and how fragile freedom is. 28 years ago, I stood outside a polling place, a schoolhouse in Western Kenya. Soldiers had chased away people who were lined up to vote. A few hours later, they came streaming back in, risking further attack, undaunted in their determination to exercise their right to vote. In 1992, I sat across a table from a young mayor in Nizhny Novgorod, Russia, and I listened to him talk of his dream of liberating his nation from communism. Years later, for his dedication to the cause of freedom, Boris Nemtsov was assassinated by Vladimir Putin's thugs. In Warsaw in 1990, I listened to a young Polish woman tell me that her greatest fear was that people would forget. They would forget what it was like to live under Soviet domination, that they would forget the price of freedom. 3 men, an immigrant who escaped Castro's totalitarian regime, a young man who grew up behind the Iron Curtain and became his country's Minister of Defense, and a dissident who spent years in the Soviet Gulag, have all told me it was the miracle of America, captured in the words of President Ronald Reagan, that inspired them. And I have seen the power of faith and freedom. I listened to Pope John Paul II speak to thousands in Nairobi in 1985. And 19 years later, I watched that same Pope take my father's hands, look in his eyes, and say, "God bless America." God has blessed America, Mr. Speaker, but our freedom only survives if we protect.
Her dad being Vice President Dick Cheney. Boris Nemtsov being the Russian dissident at the time, the anti-Putin Russian advocate for freedom, who was shot in the back on a bridge right next to the Kremlin, Red Square, rather, where the Kremlin is. If I know my Russian, I've never been to Moscow, but there's a bridge right down the road, and he was walking along the bridge and just shot in the back several times. And they just wrote that down as, oh yeah, he was mugged. He was assassinated.
It. If we honor our oath taken before God in this chamber to support and defend the Constitution, if we recognize threats to freedom when they arise. Today, we face a threat America has never seen before. A former president who provoked a violent attack on this Capitol in an effort to steal the election has resumed his aggressive effort to convince Americans that the election was stolen from him. He risks inciting further violence. Millions of Americans have been misled by the former president. They have heard only his words, but not the truth, as he continues to undermine our democratic process, sowing seeds of doubt about whether democracy really works at all. I am a conservative Republican, and the most conservative of conservative principles is reverence for the rule of law. The Electoral College has voted. More than 60 state and federal courts, including multiple judges the former president appointed, have rejected his claims. The Trump Department of Justice investigated the former president's claims of widespread fraud and found no evidence to support them. The election is over. That is the rule of law. That is our constitutional process. Those who refuse to accept the rulings of our courts are at war with the Constitution. Our duty is clear. Every one of us who has sworn the oath must act to prevent the unraveling of our democracy.
Wow.
This is not about policy. This is not about partisanship. This is about our duty as Americans.
Duty.
Remaining silent and ignoring the lie emboldens the liar. I will not participate in that. I will not sit back and watch in silence while others lead our party down a path that abandons the rule of law and joins the former president's crusade to undermine our democracy. As the party of Reagan, Republicans have championed democracy, won the Cold War, and defeated the Soviet communists. Today, America is on the cusp of another Cold War, this time with communist China. Attacks against our democratic process and the rule of law empower our adversaries and feed communist propaganda that American democracy is a failure. We must speak the truth. Our election was not stolen, and America has not failed. I received a message last week from a Gold Star father who said, "Standing up for the truth honors all who gave all." We must all strive to be worthy of the sacrifice of those who have died for our freedom. They are the patriots Catherine Lee Bates described in the words of America the Beautiful when she wrote, "O beautiful for heroes proved in liberating strife, who more than self their country loved, and mercy more than life." Ultimately, Mr. Speaker, this is at the heart of what our oath requires, that we love our country more, that we love her so much that we will stand above politics to defend her, that we will do everything in our power to protect our Constitution and our freedom that has been paid for by the blood of so many. We must love America so much that we will never yield in her defense. That is our duty.
Duty.
Thank you.
Remarkable. Remarkable speech in which the third-ranking Republican in the House GOP caucus called the president a liar multiple times. And she's right. And I never thought that I would do this for Liz Cheney, whose viewpoints on many subjects I have disagreed with vehemently, including her stance against her own sister on gay marriage. Originally, she now says that's settled since there is the Supreme Court decision, but originally was against a constitutional amendment to support gay marriage. And her sister Mary is a lesbian. So I never thought that I would do this, but Liz Cheney, you get a freedom clap. Good for her. And 3 or 4 other members of the GOP caucus. The Republican Party, as of tomorrow, is dead. It is no more. It has ceased to be. It has shuffled off this mortal coil. It is now the Trumplican Party. Because they have decided wholeheartedly to vote in favor of Trump and against basic truth. Incredible. Absolutely amazing. Let's just check very quickly on Anderson Cooper's reaction to this.
Stunning statement from Congresswoman.
I said that! God damn it, Andy. Always copies what I said. Yes, he said it first, but I didn't know he said it. And it is true. I am stunned and shocked. And if they went to me for a quote, I would say, I'm stunned and shocked and shocked. That is from, can anyone name that movie reference? And then I'm going to take off. Does anybody know? The band was stunned and shocked. Was stunned. Stunned. And shocked. Shocked. Anybody? Anybody name that movie reference? You win the prize if you do. You're running out of time. I'm going to wait 5 more seconds. 4, 3, 2. Oh, Lindsay's asking me to wait. Oh, he's waiting for Lindsay. I couldn't get my lab coat last week because of Lindsay. Everyone's always waiting for Lindsay. In Lindsay's defense, she can't catch up with us because she doesn't have any gas, any petrol. No, the correct answer to that is not Spinal Tap, although that is a worthy guess, but completely 100% wrong. It is very similar to the Spinal Tap. It is a movie in the same genre as Spinal Tap. And if you guys have not seen this movie, you owe it to yourself to watch this movie. If you had grown up as me, you would have seen this movie. Second hint, if you were a Monty Python fan, you should have seen this movie. We're waiting for Lindsay to say whatever it is she says. Ouch. That's it. Producer Rich is back. I just wanted to say hi to everyone. I'm still alive and fine. Miss you guys. I will try to be on the next broadcast. Rich, take your time. When you're not here, this is me. And then we check the chat room to see if you're there. Nothing. Then we just go back to waiting. So it's good to see producer Reach. That was Reach. Good to see producer Rich. Let's go to Chris Hayes and just catch his reaction on this. Again, we can't watch very much of this for copyright purposes on the YouTube, but we are doing commentary on that, and that makes it fair use. Let me see if I can find it. Hold on. There's Amy Klobuchar. By the way, Amy Klobuchar is on standby for MSNBC at all times. They didn't... Oh, here it is. Let's go back to the end of Liz Cheney. See what they say.
Aside from one sentence, which we can get...
Let's go back.
Mona Charen is a policy editor of the Bulwark.
Widespread fraud and found no evidence to support.
So they did not broadcast the whole speech. This is a moments ago broadcast. See you soon, Rich.
Them. The election is over. That is the rule of law. That is our constitutional process.
Mona Charen is a policy editor of the Bulwark. Olivia Troy is a former advisor to Vice President Mike Pence, a member of the White House Coronavirus Task Force until she left last summer. Mona, I'll start with you. Aside from one sentence, which we can get to in a second, and that
No, just tell us I want to hear that you're stunned.
The highest conservative principles of defense of the rule of law. Take out that one sentence. Everything there, as just factual claims about what's happening, is essentially indisputable. It's just the plain truth of what's happening that, like, we all know, and that is the thing that you're not allowed to say.
That's exactly it.
In a congressional hearing about it's not even a hearing. It's just they just get together and they talk about resolutions. It's what they do in the House. It's really a waste of time and money. And then what's her face? Marjorie Taylor Greene calls for a roll call vote, and everybody has to slog down. It's just so much silliness.
Is a war on truth that is now being joined by, or apparently about to be joined by, the entire Republican conference.
Not all of them. Not everybody in the conference. Adam Kinzinger won't. And there's one other. So there's like 3 Republicans in the conference who are willing to say that Trump is a liar. It's sad. Anyway, the Republicans are dead. It's the Trumplicans now. And they're not going to win in 2024. They've got a shot at 2022. I know it's a long way away, but the party is completely fractured.
And it really raises questions about how capable this country is of sustaining democracy, because it's really hard to overstate what this says about.
It's stunning is what it is. Let's go to Tucker Carlson, and I can tell you right now that Tucker Carlson did not broadcast this. I'm betting good money to that. Let's just see if he did. And here it comes. We're pausing that, and we're going back. It's attacking Fauci. Oh, so yesterday on Tucker, He spent his entire first segment, I'm looking through, there's something about beef. There's something about Bill Gates. This is an anti-meat crusade going on in Texas, a pro-meat crusade. So he's talking about how there's no gas, how there's a huge inflation threat that hasn't happened, but it's a threat. There's always an inflation threat. How Texas passed a law today, or at least the House passed a law, or the Senate passed a law, or somebody saying that, for example, Impossible Burger can't call themselves beef or meat on the packaging, even though plants have meat. That's, I mean, really, it's a poultry argument. But then goes on to Rand Paul attacking Fauci, and Fauci saying, "You're absolutely 100% incorrect, Senator." The deal is, yesterday Tucker spent his entire first segment saying that Anthony Fauci was responsible for COVID-19 because the NIH, the National Institute of Health, was funding research at the Wuhan Wuhan lab on creating a super version of the coronavirus, which is just not true. Has not been true, has never been true. The U.S. does do some research on making viruses stronger in North Carolina, which, as you remember, is what the Chinese claimed it was the birthplace of the virus. What OAN claimed was the birthplace of the virus because an investigator who was actually an audio engineer in Italy put out that claim on Twitter. But this is, so from an audio engineer faking being a security expert in Italy, we now have Tucker Carlson doing his entire first segment saying that Dr. Fauci, who has won the National Medal of Freedom, been awarded it by a Republican President, George W. Bush, and has served faithfully under 68 presidents, if I'm not mistaken. Thank you, judges. They usually don't do that. Is responsible for the coronavirus. Do I know what's up with the pipeline situation? Yeah, the pipeline's going to be fine. People are hoarding, and there's plenty of fuel. We have at least 10 gallons in the strategic reserve. No, really, when oil was free, we filled up the strategic reserves once again. The country has lots and lots of oil to last for 6 weeks, I think, even if every single pipeline shut down. But this will become very shortly. I haven't seen it yet, but it will become very shortly. This is why we need the Keystone Pipeline, so that our country is Keystone Pipeline has nothing to do with what's going on the East Coast. But yeah, I don't know if you guys saw this, but on Twitter today, somebody videotaped someone actually filling up plastic bags with gasoline, which is a really, really, really bad idea. Don't do that. Lindsay, unless you're out of gas, in which case, go get your plastic bags and fill up. You know, it also works like a dog crate, a plastic dog crate, if you have one of those. Just make sure it's nice and tight and hold it so the opening is up. Yeah, that's it. So I got to get going, guys. Do you know anything about the pipeline situation? Yeah, I just answered that question. So everyone be good. I am preparing an audition right now. The audition I had that I didn't get the lab coat for, that I booked, I couldn't do another audition because of it. They've now changed the date of that shoot, so I'm trying to get that going. Probably not back later tonight. I have all kinds of stuff to do. So what, Lindsay? I don't think anyone else is here, Lindsay. What is it? Do you want to just text me or something? Because just stop saying wait. Just say your question or your comment or whatever it is, Lindsay. You're just delaying. People want to go back to their lives. This is why Producer Rich sent me a text earlier, and he's like, "Hey, sorry I haven't been at the live stream much. It's that Lindsay wastes so much of our time asking us to wait and still just saying what she wants to say." Stay Kevinly. Thank you, Phil. Thanks everybody else who was watching. Bye, Stephanie. It doesn't matter that you were rushed. That's superfluous words. Just say what you want to say, Lindsay. Oh my God. I'm frantic. Let's just sit back for a moment and take this time to give Lindsay the opportunity to say what she wants to say in her own words. Team LP. Team Bella. Waiting on Lindsay. There's no rush. This airtime is free. Well, now I forgot. We're going to do the closing credits. At the end of the closing credits, we'll come back for 2 seconds. We'll see if Lindsay has made up her mind yet. What kind of casserole is it, pumpkin pie?
Kevin, thanks for that.
And we're back.
Are
Lindsay,
live. Hey, everybody, welcome to the live stream. I am your Kevinly Father.
That was me. That was my prepared haircut clip. Let's see. So I'm guessing I was wondering what you thought about the ransom. Oh, that's ransomware, corporate. Yeah, they go after corporate guys, and I guess they didn't expect to snag a fish this big. But previous companies have paid the ransom. Hospitals, etc. It's terrible. It's an awful thing. This is why you need to pay attention to your cybersecurity as a company. I get attacks all the time, but that's another story. So yeah, make sure if you haven't done so yet, guys, make sure your Gmail, your Yahoo, your Twitter, etc. do that double protection on everything. That second level security where if someone tries to change your password, make sure that Twitter, for example, then shoots you a code to your phone number. Make sure you have that capability on wherever you can. And you'd be surprised how many times people, well, I'm speaking from personal experience, but for example, when we have a Trumper in our chat room and somebody kicks the Trumper out, I will often get inundated with attacks, someone trying to change my password. I know this because my phone continuously buzzes and keeps saying, here's your code, here's your new code, here's your new code. So if you can put second level security on anything you have, please do so. And if you have a corporation, if you're watching right now, contact @random because apparently her consulting firm specializes in cybersecurity. Okay, everybody, that's it. Go be safe and be good to each other. And happy birthday if it's your birthday.